propaganda is when there's an entity trying to persuade someone to think a certain way. Usually it's portrayed in media. You know, there are different types of media, right? Media is the plural for medium, right? So a media would be like a medium. So you're just using different mediums to give out information, right? So like, of course, most people know what media is, but like anything you watch, like YouTubers are media propagators. You know, any movie you watch, anything you listen to, like these are all mediums, and the mediums, like plural, are the media. And the media right now is kind of a loaded word, because if you said I heard in the media, like immediately people will always just assume the typical Fox, CNN, MSNBC, right? Pretty much all the time. That's part of our culture. But what's important about propaganda is that it is everywhere. Like, I am creating propaganda, right? Most of my videos in the past have always just been about economics. And so my goal as a propagandist is actually to get you to see what the Federal Reserve's plan is, because if you want to end the Fed, you're going to have to understand what their plan is and just do something else. Like, you can't reasonably just go into a gold standard yourself. Because if you want to take your wife out to Dave and Buster's, what guy's taking their wife out to Dave and Buster's? If you want to take your wife out to dinner and you want to go to a nice place, you're not going to use gold. So that's just not going to happen. Your kids want a toy, like most of the time you're just not going to be able to use gold, because that would just be silly. No place is just going to take gold so easily. So that's what I'm trying to propagandize, right? I do have a point of view that I really just want everybody else to see, because I think I'm always right. And most people should think that they're always right. Otherwise, why would you even have that opinion? And so propaganda is pretty much everything, right? Like, as long as it's done through a medium and they're trying to convey a message and maybe persuade you to think a certain way, that is propaganda. Propaganda, like, and what I'm trying to say is that it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. The commercials you watch, literally the commercials are the utmost propaganda. It's just they want you to buy shit. Like, that's just because it's an advertisement doesn't mean that it's not propaganda. They want you to buy their product. And, you know, I wouldn't say it's not propaganda to have mixed couples in just about every single advertisement. It doesn't mean that propaganda has to be negative. Propaganda does not have to be negative. That is not a requirement. They do not have to be together. Propaganda and like negativity. Propaganda doesn't always have to be bad, is what I'm trying to say. I think, race, like mixed race couples in advertisements, I don't think that's a good thing. But, just to make my point that it doesn't have to be negative. The biggest thing about propaganda that I don't think most people realize is that every single person it works on everybody. The people that run the system, they've been doing this for hundreds or thousands of years, depending on what thing you believe in. Right? Like, I'm not saying that there's been one guy that's been alive forever, but the idea being perpetrated is really the same thing that's been, like, especially in America, right? It's only been going one direction since forever, right? If we're going to talk about the left-right paradigm in U.S. politics, if you really consider it, we've only gone one direction of that left-right paradigm. We've never gone the other one. Not ever. And I understand that, like, the abortion topic that happened recently, that was that was a right, that was a, see, because I don't want to say it's a step in the direction of the right, because that's really just to calm the right down, right? Because they're always trying to fight the right. And I don't believe in right or left. There's no conserving anything of the ideals of the Constitution. That has never happened. It has only been going away from the Constitution since forever, by both sides, by the Democrats and by the Republicans. It's always been that way. We've only ever gone in one direction, and that's the opposite way of the Constitution. The Constitution was written to give government limitations. It was not written for you. It was written for you, but it's about the powers that the government has. It is limitations on the government. It is not limitations on you. If you're American, and like, let's be honest, when it comes to the world stage, it doesn't really matter that much what's going on everywhere else, because it always is just going to follow the United States. Like, we already live in the one world system. We already live in the one world government, right? You have a financial system in England, like through London, which is not a city of England. It's just a city, in the same way that, like, you have the military arm of the world government in the United States, in Washington, D.C. That is also just a city that is not part of the country at all. Like, London and Washington, D.C. are not part of a state. They are not part of the country. Washington, D.C. is its own individual city. London is its own individual city. The Vatican is its own individual city. They run the religious arm, obviously. So, like, you have these three cities that just, I mean, the whole world uses one currency. Like, you know, people will bring up, like, oh, you know, Christians in particular will bring up Revelations and how they talked about, you know, the end of times will come during a one world system or whatever. There are about like 7, maybe 8. There are less than 10 countries that don't participate in the US dollar at all. Every other country does, whether in some capacity or like majorly. Like, they do use the US dollar. I've been to Panama, Ecuador, and Costa Rica, and I used US dollars the whole time. I went to the ATM in Costa Rica and got US dollars. I went to Panama and went to the ATM, got US dollars. I went to Ecuador and I got US dollars. Every single time I went to an ATM in South America or Central America, I've gotten US dollars. Costa Rica, there was this one ATM that did give the native currency, so I can't say every time, but like, the other ATM did get the US dollars. And so we already have a one world currency. We already have a one world government. And, you know, there are different teams of that one world government, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like if you watch a mob movie, right? And there's the family, right? But then the family, the people that sit at the table, they have their own families. And they also want to do, I mean, hypothetically, but they would also want to do what's good for their family. And I don't mean that that's what governments do, but like, they have their own plan. So like, there's the plan, and then there are these individual guys, these branches of this tree that do also like do their own thing, as well as participate in the overall plan. And like, that's how I think the one world government works, right? Like, you have the United States arm of the world government, which, you know, there is, and you have England, right? Like, they're its own country and they do English stuff, but in general, like, you have a one world government and they participate in that one world government, right? Like, when 2020 happened and that whole thing, every single country was doing the same thing. There were a few countries that just weren't, but most of the countries, especially all the big hitters, they all participated. They all did the same rules. They all stopped working. And like COVID was just, it was an economic plan, which, like, I know it's ridiculous, right? The economics guy, the guy on YouTube trying to be an economics guy, right? He's gonna say it's all economic. It for sure is, because the Federal Reserve really needed certain situations, and they also like enacted plans that have never been done before by the Federal Reserve. Like, it was brand new. I can't go off verbatim about it because I want to look it up before I start talking shit. But you know, they did need, like, in their speeches, they did say that they needed, you know, different powers, and you know, they needed money to stop flowing. They needed, it's not that it stopped. They needed production to stop for a minute, for a hot second, but also the spending to just skyrocket. Because if people are paying off their debts, that causes deflation. So if the pandemic happens and nobody has to pay off their debt for a little bit, or their mortgages or their rent, but they also get a ton of money, like an influx of money, now money velocity skyrockets. That's neither here nor there. It's about propaganda. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, propaganda works on you, right? Like, it doesn't have to be you watch one Snickers commercial and you're immediately in the car trying to go get some Snickers at the bodega or whatever. Like, it just has to give you 1% to one side, right? And maybe not every, like, Snickers commercial or Cialis commercial or what, like, hair commercial, not every single one has to be for you. But if there is, they all just need to do a little bit of work, right? They all need to just push you a little bit to one side. And then if they all do that, you know, over time, you will start getting onto that side, especially if you're one of those 50-50 people. If you're one of these centrists, if you are politically right down the middle, you have opinions on this thing, but it's on this side, but you have opinions on this other thing, and that's on that side, right? It's that guy. Like, that's most people. Like, that's just most people. Most people aren't hard set on their ideals. Like, even, I don't want to say morality, but like, most people aren't just like super hardcore, especially politically. Like, they're not on one side or the other. Like, if you're on the right team, you're an extremist, and if you are on the left team, you are an extremist. But with propaganda, because it is everywhere and it is ubiquitous, and it is on YouTube, and it is on TV, and it is on fucking HBO, it's on Freebie. Like, there is a lot of propaganda going on. It's on all the social media. And so if all of them start pushing, like, all of this propaganda, all of these advertisements, all of the like big YouTubers, like, if you notice, like, a lot of the big YouTubers, they also think in a particular, like, way. But if you get all of them to just give you like 0.1% movement to one side, you will eventually get all together, you will get a huge movement to one side. That's why, like, pride stuff, like gay people, right? They are so wildly accepted that, like, there are right-wing influencers that are gay that have children. Do you understand? 10 years ago, that was crazy. 20 years ago, that was even crazier. But, you know, you have all the big sitcoms, you have all the big TV shows, and all of them just have a gay guy. It doesn't have to be a gay show. They just need a gay guy. So then eventually, everybody is totally fine with it. See where I'm going? So, like, propaganda does work on you. It works on all of us. It works on me. Like, if I'm scrolling through Instagram, like, and I see, like 100 thoughts and I skip through every single one of them, that 101st one, I might stay an extra second. Does that make sense? So like if I see 100 of these OnlyFans chicks and their tits are straight out, and I see 100 of them and I spend 0 seconds on all of them, I see it and I scroll right past, right, real quick. Eventually by the 101st one, there's gonna be a delay of me flicking it up or like swiping it up, like going past it. It's gonna be a delay of me skipping it because it happens so many times. Eventually I'm just gonna take a gander. Like propaganda works on everybody. So that's it. You'll figure it out.